Are you ready to eliminate coffee for good? I've got 4 tips that will help you remove coffee from your daily diet. And the fourth one was definitely the most impactful for me. Look, getting off of coffee and removing that from my diet was probably the toughest transition I've had to do, even tougher than giving up meat. Like going vegetarian was easier than giving up coffee. And I think part of that was when I went vegetarian, while it was a tough transition, I kind of looked at coffee as a highlight of my day. And I think we all kind of go through that. We kind of lean on it as some type of comfort. But then we soon realized that, look, coffee is bad for you, really has no nutritional benefit. Caffeine is poison. Coffee is acid forming. It's dehydrating. It manipulates your body, all these different things. And once you come to that realization, now it's like, okay, how do I get off coffee? How do I change a habit that I've been doing my entire adult life? And I know you're probably struggling with that. So these 4 tips will definitely help you on that transition. So the first tip is what I call the 50-50-100. The first thing you want to do is you want to reduce the amount of coffee you drink by 50% for 2 weeks. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you drink 6 cups of coffee every day, you want to reduce that to 3 cups of coffee every single day for 2 weeks. Or if you only drink 1 cup of coffee a day, you want to reduce that by drinking coffee every other day instead of every day. So whatever your current consumption of coffee is, you want to reduce it by 50% for 2 weeks. All right. And then the next 2 weeks, you want to reduce it by another 50%. So if you were only drinking 1 cup of coffee a day and now you're every other day, so that's about 4 times a week, now you want to reduce it to 2 times a week for 2 more weeks. And then after that, you want to go 100% without coffee. So that should be an easy transition for you to wean yourself off of coffee. Now, for me, when I stopped drinking coffee, I went cold turkey, which some of you may be able to do. And look, more power to you. And when I did that, I went through a pretty heavy detox. The freed up energy that I had from eliminating the coffee allowed my body enough energy to have a detox. And I went through a lot of joint pain and a lot of inflammation for about a week. And it was pretty painful. Like I said, this was a very tough transition for me. But after that, completely gone. And I haven't looked back and haven't had coffee since. And that's years ago. All right. But that's the first tip, the 50-50-100. Reduce by 50% the first 2 weeks, then another 50% the next 2 weeks. And then you should be able to 100% eliminate coffee. Are you going to have cravings? Probably. Are you going to have neurotransmitters going crazy when you smell coffee? Yes, you will. But that's where the support comes in. That's where the discipline comes in. And by this ease of transition, you should be good. But the second tip, which is incredibly important, especially to assist with the first tip, is to make sure you're getting good sleep. Now, this is kind of a paradox, right? You were probably thinking, man, well, I'm tired all the time, but I drink coffee and I feel good. Okay, cool. But what that's doing, that is manipulating your body and specifically the melatonin production. So when you get off the coffee and you wean yourself off of coffee, your body is going to take some time to get back to normal where it can start recreating that constant melatonin production. So you have to make sure you're getting good rest. Rest is imperative to just a healthy life in general. So make sure you're getting your 8-9 hours of sleep, whatever it may be, depending on how crazy your life is. Make sure you're getting the right amount of sleep. Rest will definitely help with this transition because if you're not getting rest, if you're not getting the proper hours of sleep, you're going to lean on those old habits again. So the number 2 tip is to make sure you're getting enough rest. All right. The third tip, and this is very, very, very important. It's going to change your mindset here because when you wake up in the morning, you're thinking, I need energy. I need something. I need a spark. So you lean on stimulants. You need to lean on fruit. Make fruit the first thing you eat, whether you're doing intermittent fasting and don't eat till 12 or whether you eat when you first wake up. Make sure the first thing you're eating is fruit, and not just one piece of fruit, but a decent amount of fruit. Depending on how dense the fruit is, right? If you have fruit as your first meal, you're going to influx electricity into your body. And that right there is kind of the foundation of the whole transition. because you're so used to leaning on a stimulant that is ultimately giving you no nutritional benefit and manipulating your body and stopping your body from producing and doing what it's supposed to do. And you're transitioning to something that is giving you electricity and is energy efficient and is just more of a sustainable type of energy for you throughout the day. So make sure you're eating fruit as your first meal of the day. This is going to help tremendously with the transition, and it's healthy and it's good for you, and you're going to feel better. No crashes, nothing like that, just like real sustainable energy. All right, so let's recap real quick. The first one, all right, the 50-50-100, 2 weeks reducing by 50%, another 2 weeks reducing by 50%, and then 100% getting rid of it all. Number 2 tip, making sure you're getting enough rest, enough sleep to help support you on this transition, right? Should be a part of your regimen anyway, but just make sure specifically on your transition. And then number 3, making sure that you're eating fruit the first meal of the day. Now, number 4, which was probably the most impactful for me in my transition, that is to replace coffee with fruit juice or smoothies. Now, look, I'm not a huge proponent of juicing all the time or even doing smoothies all the time, but they're incredible when it comes to transition. Because number one, when you drink fruit juice, and I'm talking like 100% fruit juice, one of my favorite juices is grapes, apples, and oranges, or grapes, apples, and pears, right? You put that juice together, you're going to get so much energy because you're getting so much sugar right in that moment. It is going to give you a similar feeling to coffee. All right. And it's great for the transition. You know, it's not great to do all the time, but in the transition period, it's definitely good. And it did help me on my transition. And smoothies, right? Smoothies are definitely better than juices, but still, you know, not optimal. We want whole foods, but for transition, amazing, right? Make sure you're following some of these food combining practices that I talk about as well. You know, you don't want to mix your sweet fruits with your acid fruits. You want to do your subacid with acid and your sweet with subacid, whatnot. But you kind of lean on juices and smoothies in that transition, it will help tremendously. That's what definitely helped me. Whatever works for you. If you're good with, you know, just going through the 50-50-100 and not implementing juices and smoothies, then that's great. If you can go cold turkey, that's even better. But look, we're all different. We all are in different places on our journeys and whatnot. So just make sure you have whatever can help support you in your transition and whatever's best for you. The main thing is the goal. We want to get off of coffee, and however we can get there, the better, right? So these 4 tips will definitely get you there, whatever way you want to navigate it, however you want to do it. All right. For me, you know, I didn't even understand the 50-50-100. This is something that I created later on once I understood how the body worked. For me, I went cold turkey and just replaced it with fruit juices and smoothies. That might work for you, right? But the key in all these tips is you gotta get your rest, right? That is a huge thing right there. And at the end of the day, like, coffee has no nutritional benefit for you, even though they try to spin it on you and tell you that it does, just like they try to tell you that meat is good for protein and getting iron, and like they try to tell you that eggs are great for protein and how milk and dairy is great for calcium. All these different things that they try to sell you, that it's all false. None of that is actually true. In fact, the video that I recommend after this one is checking out my journey and what I went through and my transition to get off of coffee and why I did it and what I noticed with my body. You will get a great indication of how it can change your life. It might not change it exactly the same because we're all in different places, but you'll at least get to see how I went through it and what I went through and ultimately what it accomplished for me, right? And I haven't looked back since. So I hope this helped you. Make sure that you give me a like if this, you know, resonated with you. And subscribe to my channel if you want to check out my journey into fruit-based life and how it's affected me and changed my life and how it could ultimately possibly change your life. So anyways, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll be back. And make sure you check out my transition off of coffee after this video. Have a good one, guys.